it was feeling like one of those material design days. That's right, baby. 2.0. Hello everyone, my name is Mr. b3cubed and welcome back to version 2.0 of Material Design Wallpapers in Photoshop. I got some really great feedback on the last video I made, and so it's standing at over 1,000 views right now, so I'm pretty proud of it. But there were some complaints that the background music was too loud or my video was too choppy, which I perfectly agree with. Way back when I made that, I was sucky at editing. So I decided that we should redo that all. So here we are back in Photoshop. So let's go ahead and start off by creating a new document. We're going to call this Material Tutorial, just like that. And we're going to have it set to custom, and we're going to set our thing to pixels, and we're going to change it to 1920 by 1080, just like that. Don't worry about the rest of it. Make sure your background contents are at white. Go ahead and push OK. So before I get started, you should know this is fully unscripted, so I'm going purely off of creativity. I have no idea what I'm creating. It's all art, and you can't rush art. So if I stutter at all, that's why. So here we have our page set up. Now what I always like doing in a material design wallpaper is starting off by getting myself like a dark gray color and then using the paint bucket to change the background to a dark gray. Don't ask why this is, I just do it because dark gray just seems to fit with every theme. And I'm thinking the accent color we're going to use this time is green. So what we're going to do is we're going to start and we're going to get our rectangle tool here, and we are going to do something interesting. First we're going to zoom out actually. Z to zoom out, and then push Alt to zoom out, because you can sort of see the cursor changing. Don't know if you can see that very well. Anyway, actually no, we're not going to use rectangle. We're going to use an ellipse. So I told you it'd be kind of impromptu. Just go ahead and drag out an ellipse. Make sure you hold Shift as you go, so you make sure you've got nice straight angles. Push V to get back to your selection tool. And here we have our very first ellipse tool, looking pretty nice. Now it looks nice and bright. What we're going to do is we are going to get a drop shadow on top of it. And so what you do is you double click on your layer, and I have two monitors running right now, so that kind of went off screen a bit. You're going to select your drop shadow option, go into your options here, and you can see this real time if you have a newer version of Photoshop. This works in all versions of Photoshop, by the way. It's just the structures are set up a little bit differently. So everything should be good, but we should have it set to as a 90-degree angle and use global light and all that stuff. Make sure your distance is set to 1px because Material Design has 1px DPI scaling. Your spread, basically it makes it look how you want it, you know, if it's more sharp or if it's more feathered out. I like leaving this around 20. And then your size is basically, you know, how far it goes out. I like leaving this somewhere around the range of 30, 25-ish. I'll leave that 27 for now. That's all good and dandy. So let's go ahead and push OK. Now with the ellipse selected, what we can do is we can hold Alt and click and drag to duplicate the image. Now the reason I'm doing this is because I like to do a really cool effect with this. Now what you do is you're going to do Control T and click on the corner and size to whatever you want. Remember, you don't have to use ellipses with this. You can do it however the heck you want. This is just my personal preference. After you've done it the way you like it, push Enter to apply the transformation. And it doesn't look even, so let me just go ahead and push Shift to select both of these layers and drag it out in the middle just to make sure. And it is in fact straight, it just didn't look like it was. So we're going to have this right in the corner right there. It doesn't really matter about the lines or whatever. Again, it's your personal preference, it doesn't matter. Now the only reason I applied that drop shadow earlier is so you can see the boundary line right about there. If you didn't put a drop shadow there, you wouldn't be able to tell if it was the right size or not. So it is this effect right here we need to change. And so the bottom one, what we're going to do is we're actually going to change the color. Double click on the little square right there to change the color. And we're going to change this to a gray, like a lighter gray than what we have going on here. So like you have that, but we want it to be a little bit lighter, so we'll do something like that. And then what we'll do is we'll go to our other ellipse on top and then just get rid of the drop shadow so it has a nice seamless look to it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go back into our tool here. Again, this is not, like, you don't have to follow what I'm doing. This is all impromptu, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to go ahead and create a nice big rectangle. Doesn't matter exactly what you do. And that is a terribly awful green to have the entire page filled up with. So we're going to go to our fill right here over in the corner, and we're going to change our fill to a darker gray than what we have going on the outside here, so you can sort of see. Oop, I just left the text layer. My bad. Go back to V to select here, Control T, and what you can do is you can also rotate. You don't have to just adjust the size. So I'm going to adjust this to about right there, and then you can also move it. I'm going to rotate a little bit back, and maybe a little more, just like that. It's all good and dandy. And what we're going to do is we're going to drag our layer below the ellipse, so the ellipse shines over it. Now, this is kind of a weird approach I'm taking to this. I'm going to double click on here again to get the drop shadow going on. Now, on the other one, you might have noticed that the shadow was kind of small. So let's go ahead and increase the size up to 40 and maybe make the distance up 1. Don't know why I like that. And we're going to hold Alt again and click and drag to get another tool here. Push Control T to go to freeze transformation mode. And we're going to tilt that one just about like that, maybe. Push Enter to apply. We're going to change the color of this to a slightly lighter gray, just like that. And I've decided I don't like this tilt, so we're going to make it just a little bit more, like that. And repeat as you want. I mean, it really doesn't matter how much you do this all. It's all personal preference. It's art. Think of this as you're painting, doing whatever the heck you want, and just making it look nice to your preferences. I mean, you could even make it like a, I don't know, you can make it like a red color if you want, but it does clash. You can tell I'm on a scripted day, can't you? So, 3 layers right here seems to be okay. I like that a lot. And now what we can do is, if we want to, we can create another rectangle from scratch here. I'm going to make this one like right here. And we're going to make the color the bright green again, so we have those accents. Let's just do that there. Control T to go to transform. Just rotate that a little bit, make it all flush right there. Kind of like that. And it's going to say yada yada. It doesn't matter at all. Let's go ahead and apply our drop shadow to this one. And bear in mind, you don't have to have drop shadows for every single shape. You can turn off some by just clicking the little eyeball if you're not familiar with Photoshop here. Also, I don't think Photoshop is the preferred program to make material design wallpapers. I think it's Illustrator. But I'm not that familiar with Illustrator, nor do I have a working copy at the moment, so we're not going to worry about it. And I think, personally, material design is all about the accents you choose. I'm actually going to make this a... Whoa, that's not terrible at all, having white. Let's change the color of this. Let's make it like a... I don't know, like a... Oh, that's kind of cool looking. Let's kind of do like a sea foamy blue sort of thing. That's kind of a nice... I don't know. Is that like a cyan? I don't know. A blue-green. Get rid of the drop shadow there. And we'll actually change this green to kind of a duller green. You can only go so dark with the colors of material, otherwise it starts working like really crazy. Someone just messaged me, I apologize. We'll just stick with the gray. I kind of like that. I mean, really, let your imagination go wild. It's all about polygons, and there's another really cool effect you can do with hexagons. You can just use your polygon tool and create a bunch of them, or you can do really whatever you want. Doesn't really matter. Just create a bunch and just copy them into a grid pattern. That's an effect I've done. I'll put a picture up on the screen right about now, so you can sort of see what's going on there. I think it looks pretty nice. I created a really nice material design wallpaper for a friend of mine recently. I can also show you that when I put up, so you can see all the different polygons and shapes I used. Anyway, after getting back to this, go ahead and push V to get back into your selection. Deselect your layer if you want, or whatever. At this point, you're pretty much done if you want, or you can continue messing around with it. Like I said, use the Material Design color palette, because otherwise it'll look ugly. Well, it might look ugly. It's most likely going to look ugly. Anyway, after you've done that, go ahead and save your thing here. I'm going to save this down to my desktop. All the good stuff. Material tutorial, and change it to, you can just save it as a PSD. For now, if you ever want to go back and change it, you can do that. But if you want to export it as a different, go Control-Shift-S to save as. Change PSD to, let's say, PNG. And we're going to go ahead and save that. go ahead and push OK. Doesn't really matter about that, all that good stuff. Minimize this, and if you want to, you know, display settings, you want to change your background to that, what you can do is browse for your picture, and it should be on your desktop or wherever you saved it, and material tutorial.png, and booyah, lovely material wallpaper right for your PC. I rather like it, but I'm going to stick with my own for now because I like mine too. So anyway, I hope this tutorial wasn't too crazy or hard to follow or rambling on, but you know, that was really bad. Don't ever listen to that ever again. Anyway, you could ruin an entire video just by saying one thing at the little end. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, and stay tuned for more tutorials coming soon, including getting started on YouTube. If you ever wanted to do that, that's something that's coming up. Also, thank you so much for watching if you've gotten to this far, and I will see you all in the next one.